Welcome, everyone, to episode 26 of the Migtown podcast, Date of the Cummunion Part 2, your only weekly source for erections of statues that have nothing to do with concrete or marble. As always, I'm Producer Tim, and joining me is the mayor of Migtown himself. Say hi.
What's up to everybody out there? First up, we got our main man coming from the land, Dirty Dan. This is a special guest because Dirty Dan lights up our Discord. And if you haven't subscribed to that, definitely do that as we get real degenerate in there. So, Dirty Dan, take it away, man. Where are you at? Tell us about the state of the women in your area, man.
Right. So I am from central Illinois. That's about as close as I'm going to get to where I actually live, in a college town. And most everyone knows how college towns aren't exactly, the best. Just take a look at any type of news site or any type.
What are you talking about? I can always get a good night's sleep there. Everyone follows the noise ordinance.
With or without the alcohol. Oh, man.
I mean, you just take a cloth soaked with gasoline and you'll sleep like a baby for a long time.
Tim, I can't do that. That's expensive.
So, Dan, tell us about basically what have you seen from a red pill man's perspective about how these college age girls are moving and shaking, like in terms of who's out there thotting it up the most? Is it just a free for all? Because a lot of guys think they know college, but college has changed due to social media and all these dating sites like Seeking Arrangement and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
So tell us what has changed in college. There are some guys out there who may be older, some may be younger, haven't even gotten to college yet. Tell them what they can expect when they go to college in the modern day.
Well, when you said moving and shaking, I was just thinking moving and shaking towards the football team. It's not exactly a lie, but with my college, specifically the basketball team, because they draw in more than our football team. Interestingly enough, plus they're all black, so that might help.
Oh yeah, these chicks are taking the BBC, man.
Oh God,
they're getting ran through.
I don't even feel comfortable sitting in these stadiums. Just how bad it is.
Damn.
I guess it's a good thing I wasn't really interested in sports in the first place. So
what have you seen in terms of what these college girls are doing in regards to the toll of the promiscuity, the drugs, alcohol? Have you seen anything personally that makes you say, whoa, damn, like these women are out of control?
all right. So my college had the privilege of the Nelk boys come in. They are like, if anyone remembers that news story breaking, that was a time when I think they're like, I don't know, it's like a party influencer type thing. That it came into town and went to one of the high-end dorms. Not dorms, student apartments. This one has a pool in the center, so it's like an actual square around a pool. It's multiple levels. And so they came in and told everyone they don't have to wear their masks and such like that, so they were going to party and look good for the camera. I can tell you where this went, seeing how everyone from my area, the college that I go to, is now, we call that, it was the north side of campus, so we called it the North COVID area, just so we all knew to avoid it. So they came in, and it was I can't, how am I going to put this? It was really more like, those like college movies where they have everyone in a party? How like stereotypical it is. Turn that dial up to 11 and probably 3 times as more blowjobs in the bathroom, and you probably got a solid idea of where I'm at.
I already know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to know, you are out there, how many guys, even though they see all these things that are going on at college, how many guys are still blue pill simps?
Considering how most, if like a good, let's say, just I'm gonna say based off of degrees earned there, is probably gonna be around. I really want to say 85%.
How many times have you seen like this Chad football player cry over a woman?
Never.
Twice.
Oh, you've seen
Yeah.
it?
Twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, Drex. They're all big and muscular when they're with their other bros, but then they get the one-itis and they start crying.
I've never seen it.
That's
I was an athlete. I never saw a guy cry. Don't get me wrong. I've seen a guy get like upset over whatever, but never crying. That's pitiful. That's
the
fucking
state
pitiful.
that's the state of the communion now.
God damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, I do have to say, just to clarify, I am nowhere near Chicago, thankfully. But the town I'm in is basically just Chicago 2.0 because it's the only thriving city outside of Chicago. And it's a dual college town, so it's not just one college; it's two.
Of course. What about Title IX? How do the women in your college view Title IX in terms of utilizing it? Is this something that you hear about on campus? Anything like that?
Personally, I haven't, mainly because the past 2 semesters I've been here was online, so Title IX reports were all record lows.
No, that makes sense.
Except for like the first week. The week after moving week is kind of weird because I think we got reports of about 3 rapes and 2 parties that have been broken up because of drugged punch bowls. So that was nice. That was nice.
Wow. Do any of these guys know that you don't have to do that to get laid?
You know how many of them are blue pilled simps?
Yeah, it's true. God, man, fucking guys. Jesus Christ. Well, what have you noticed in regards to how the women interact with each other?
Depends where you go, because the campus I'm at is small, relatively small. Like the entire thing's no more than about, like, at least the quad is no more than like 10 city blocks long. Kind of a tiny college stuffed into the middle of a city, or if you can call it a city. So the interactions are really based in the halls. So from north to south, the north end you have, I'm gonna say, going over the bridge, because we have a bridge, because for college campus doesn't go over the bridge towards the south end. On your left, you will have the Hall of Science. Interaction there is fine. Everyone's focused on trying not to fail the physics classes, or geography or whatever. But on the left is the social sciences building.
Ugh.
I had the unfortunate turn of event to take one of my classes in there for an elective. You would not. So like high school stereotypical drama.
Yep.
Cranked that up to like 30 for people who are nearly who are between like 18 to like 35 as students. Because the social sciences you never get out. You pay like $100,000 for a sheet of paper that says, "Hi, I work at Starbucks forever."
Yep.
So, yeah, it's like a caddy. It's like they never grew up, never grew out of high school. Swear to God, at least half of the guys over there peaked in high school.
Have you had a sense that these girls have this sense of entitlement, right? Like I'm going to school for this. I have X amount degree that I'm studying for, right? This is my major. Do you have a sense that they think that they're high and mighty? That sense of entitlement?
Some of them, like the undergrads, not really, but the graduate students going for their doctorate or PhD or whatever, they definitely do. Like I said, especially the social sciences people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of things do they tend to major in?
Let's see. Where I'm at was a teaching school before it got renovated into a regular university. So there's still a high amount of teaching majors, education majors, where I'm at. And then next on the list would be, oh god, what was it? I look it up now, but the site that they're using is being updated because it was running like a 20-year-old system that they're finally updating.
Damn.
So if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. But I think it was like some, well, in the rise of the cultural context, I guess like it was starting to fill out. Like psychology used to be second, but now it's more like oh, God, I know it was like something social, something science. I can't remember. I know it's like the social sciences have risen in the past. I mean, I started going to that school in 2017. I should have graduated by now, but I switched majors, so eh. But Eric, in the past like 4 years, I think I've seen it change between psychology and then like engineering to like social sciences, psychology, uh, diversity. The diversity majors, well, not major programs, has risen into the top five. And I think the STEM is barely hanging on.
How many women are in STEM?
Uh, I think it is. Uh, shit. I think let's see. There's still like it's still like a 70-30 split between female male at the school. So it's like more than you think, but less than normal. You know. So I'd
How
probably
many
say
did you actually
about
finish?
God. I think it's like the most I saw, and there was like 10 when I was doing the STEM program. Well,
Yeah,
geography's
my
still STEM, but eh.
yeah, yeah. They really love staring at rocks.
You're right.
Like
What?
That's not what geography is, but keep going.
Well, one of the things that I've always maintained, and I want you to elaborate on, is being that feminism has infected all women, right? From every socioeconomic status, blah blah blah. One of the things I want you to talk about is: have you noticed that there's any breakdown in terms of ethnicity in college, or do you feel that all these women have swallowed the feminist Kool-Aid once they get there?
Um, really depends, right? So at least 60% of the students at my college are from Chirac.
Ugh.
So most of them come in with it. And then like the rest, there's like a good portion of it from people who are townies like me. Going, some of them, some of it getting beaten into them within the gen eds. I didn't. That's what. And then the rest of them are from out of state, which I'm not sure why they want to come here for college, but you know what? It's their money, not mine.
So you had to deal with those from Chirac. So I mean, what do you got for us, Dan? Are there any Sherman stories of German shepherds that may or may not include you?
God damn it! I knew that was coming. uh, uh, yeah, like there would be like Coop Y. I hate you so much. Can't see our Discord chat. He put a German Shepherd just
yeah, never mind Koopa. He
causing it.
just he distracts us.
Yeah, he does. That he does. The German Shepherds are like the Chicago breed are an interesting breed because some of them are stuck in the goth age that everyone got into. At least if you were born between like 95 to like 2003. Most of them are still in that
Ugh.
goth stage.
Yeah. You
The
don't
other half,
really see black chicks into goth other places, man. You mean the black chicks or just the chicks in general?
oh, black chicks actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
there's not. the tried and true German Shepherds are the one in the social sciences, going to be like diversity officers and shit.
Man, you know what? College changed. I don't ever remember black chicks being into goth when I was in school. Like literally none. Zero.
And I know about 10.
Damn, shit changed. Wow.
Yeah.
So you had to encounter these German shepherds, and you had dealings with them.
One specifically, yes.
The people out there want to know what's it like to engage with a German Shepherd. I mean, were you intoxicated? Were
Yeah.
you drugged? What happened?
All right. So I do have to preface this that I've known this one for 4 years. She was into me, but I was too deaf to actually notice. So I guess that saved me for a bit. And then we got drunk. It was at a house party. Got drunk at a house party. The thirst came in, and then it happened. Yeah, that's
And how
about.
good was it? I mean, was it great? I mean, I warned you on Nick's show, on my show, to stay away from German Shepherds, as Minister Jap tells you. Shout out to Minister
Okay,
Jap.
look.
So what did you do? Did you take my advice, or did you do the exact fucking opposite?
I did my own route called trust but verify.
Okay, so Drex said we've learned if it's a yes or no answer, and you get something other than yes or no.
Yep.
Yes, it's the bad one.
Whatever's the bad one, whatever answer that is, that's what you did. You did the bad one.
Yes, I did the bad one.
So
I
you
just
did
wanna-
verify that it was indeed an actual genetic female, because most German Shepherds actually, as Minister Jap said, have transsexualized energy. So you never know if it's a dude or a chick because they look horrible. So I'm assuming she had to look good enough to smash, whether sober or drunk.
Mhm.
So what happened? So you meet up with this chick at the house party. It's a thirsty Thursday, and then you proceed.
Well, the thing is, we didn't exactly do it drunk. This is the weird part. She actually got.
Should've.
I probably should have. She got too drunk, so she ended up hurled over in my bathroom for more than, just exiting her stomach contents because liver can't process the amount of alcohol that she had. So then laid her down in the guest room, put the trash can next to her face just in case, and I went into my room, slept the night. Woke up the next morning, she was in my bed, so that was a thing. And like I was starting to say, like this German Shepherd actually was into me, even though she's with her boyfriend up in. Actually, he's out in Indiana.
Shocker. Are you saying that black women cheat? Women cheat in general? No. No.
You're welcome to college. At least half of them are in a long distance relationship, and I've been with like a few of them. But
Oh. What do you have to say to all those guys out there who think that their girl is not getting bunker busted because they're in an out of state relationship? What do you think? What do you have to say about those guys?
they are poor souls that don't know the world.
That's what we like to hear here. I like to just get rid of all that hope, that bitch assness. So you wake up in bed with a German Shepherd. You should have kicked her out, but you didn't.
I didn't know. Probably because
And then what happens?
Oh God, I don't think I wish I didn't remember him that much. Is what I'm saying. But she started talking dirty, like the name Dirty Dan, and eventually she gets on top. Starts going from there. I grab the rubbers because no, we are not doing this without rubbers. I know things. It went in, but I couldn't feel anything. You know, it's like a fucking cavern.
Uh-oh.
It's like you go in, how you go into a cave and you can't exactly feel the sides, even though you're going in
Uh-oh.
deeper. Yeah.
Oh.
Did I also mention that she was a virgin hunter?
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a real thing.
it is.
I don't know if you know those people exist, Drex, but that's a real thing.
I don't know if I've really ever heard much about that. I mean, there'd be people who use it as a badge of honor.
Well, and here's the thing. Male virgins tend to telegraph the fact that they are male virgins. They're just really awkward people in high school, right?
True.
Very
And
correct.
so
Was one.
and so apparently the chicks seem to get, and Dan, confirm, these are not your 7s and 8s out of 10. These are like your 5s at best, right? Who are just going around collecting V cards.
Yeah, 5 to 7s.
It's a badge of honor to them. Yeah, a buddy of mine lost his V card to a virgin hunter. Just like literally tracked him down because she learned that he was still a virgin. Tracked him down, managed to corner him at some kind of, it was like a graduation get together, and basically forced herself on him. And he was like, "Yeah, fine." I don't.
No, I stay on the topic of virgin hunters, but yeah, that's like I used the fact that I was like still kind of new to this, still kind of new to sex type of thing, and I found like I don't know, like 10 virgin hunters on my campus. So
Damn, so this is an actual thing.
It is an actual thing.
And again, Drex, these are not the 7s going after you. It's the 5s and 6s.
I did find an 8 though. That was an interesting one.
Crazy. Run.
Dan, what do you think the body
Well-
counts are of most of these chicks in college? Well, if you had to give like a rough estimate of the body count, what do you think it is?
Well, one of if they were caverns, I'd probably have to say at least triple digits, if not quadruple digits, by the time they graduate. I swear to God, I think the only people who aren't, like the only guys who have not been done, are the people who are in STEM. That's
Well, they
that's all I
have
can
to
say.
study.
Yeah, they have to study.
What do you hear about, with so much rampant promiscuity on the campus? What have you heard about STDs on campus? Is there any like word on that, or do people just kind of, is it hush hush?
Considering that this is a pretty progressive area, it's out in the open. So, or at least like they advertised, oh, hey, get tested here and here and here for it. But if it's like you ask a girl, she won't say anything. So it's kind of a weird mix of both. It's out there because the college is saying, hey, get tested over here, but the girls are like don't admit to it if they do have it, which is why I'm always carrying a rubber, because I ain't playing around that shit.
Damn.
I mean, he demonstrates competency in some areas. Gotta give him that.
Look, I may not find the right hole to go, but I know to wear protection, okay?
All right.
That's why he's Dirty Dan.
I got to wrap this up. We got a lot more people to get through.
So is there anything you want to tell everybody out there about your experiences at college? Or, I mean, we always ask everyone this question. How many marriageable women have you seen at your campus?
I can't really say.
So something close to 0, right?
Yeah, nearly 0. I think I know 1.
Damn. And what would you tell anybody out there who's going to actually get with a German Shepherd? Things to look out for.
Don't. Is the first part. In the do list, don't. I know it sounds like it should be on the don't list, but don't is the do part.
And what would you tell them don't? Is it the attitude? Is it something else? What is the don't reason?
Attitude. Stank.
Oh, no, you don't say.
And
I mean, describe stank. Well, if you had to describe it, what is the stank part? What are we talking about?
how did I put it a month ago? Like the wrong end of a Taco Bell. That's the way I put that. If you've left bacon out in the microwave too long, you left.
Okay.
But there's one more thing I did want to get to. Real quick.
What is that?
As mad as you think the college girls are, they have nothing compared to the girls who live in the actual town.
And why is that?
Add meth and like hardcore drugs to the equation, and then you go. Because it's a lot easier. Because where I'm at's a meth capital, so.
Jesus
It's always
Christ.
meth. Drex,
It's
it's
always
meth, man.
Meth.
Meth
is wrong?
and heroin in this area.
God damn. Seriously?
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, because smoking weed just doesn't do it anymore.
Well, especially since it's been legalized here.
Jesus Christ. Fucking- Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's added me to the nth amount of meth heads that I know. So
Oh, and Dirty Dan, just for you, we'll let you out with this. We got
Oh,
one of
God, here we
of
go.
our fans, Bahan Man. He actually said that his friend thought it was a German Shepherd's ass sweat, right? That booty sweat. No,
Oh,
he
no.
refused to believe a coochie can stank that bad. This is a PSA for all you guys out there. Okay. Yes, it is all German Shepherds. That's A. And B, ladies, wash the cooch. Okay, please. Wash your ass. Just wash your body, period, inside and out. I mean, you hoes are nasty, man.
Especially
Fuck.
if you have an STD, please, for the love of God.
Ah, and she was one of the disease ones with a boyfriend that she was cheating on.
Yeah, herpes. She got herpes.
She got
So
hurt. Something
yeah.
uncurable. I wonder if her
Yep.
boyfriend knows.
I hope he does.
Probably does.
Ooh, damn. Well, yeah,
Oh.
we'll let you out with that, Dan. Thanks for giving us the update on how Illinois is and German Shepherds and diseased German Shepherds who have stank cooch. You've saved at least one life with this knowledge and this wisdom that you have gifted us.
For science,
That is
I
the
say.
current state of women. That is Illinois. So Illinois women, ladies, get your shit in order.
Yeah, Central Illinois. I think.
Central Illinois.
Yeah, I think TAC is going to give you the Chirac version.
Damn.
So you're from Chicago, right?
No. Well,
Like all of
Chicago,
Illinois is Chicago. Whether
Just
you
like
it or not.
just like every basketball player is a politician.
True, it's true. I mean, hey, didn't Bill Clinton play basketball? I mean, he was America's first black president.
All right, y'all, peace.
Peace out, Dan.
I think I have offended the black person.
Oh shit.
All right.
What up? Mr. Invader has invaded.
Yep.
Invading that cooch.
Not German Shepherd cooch, man.
As mentioned, I am in the Chicago area. Well, south of Chicago, but still Cook County, let's just say. And it's pretty much German Shepherd Central up here.
Damn. And what's it like being around German Shepherds?
I don't really engage with them, but just being around the area, yeah, I'm good.
Damn. So, okay, let me ask you a question, Mr. Invader. Black women have shown you enough as a non-black man to say to yourself, no, right? On a whole ethnic group of women. You've seen enough to say no, right?
Yeah, pretty
That
much.
being said, now let me ask you this question. What if you were a black man and you were born into an environment surrounded by German Shepherds? Would you stay with those women, quote unquote, your women, or would you go try to look for something else?
I would have to say look elsewhere, like you have, or like other black guys have, because just no. No.
So have you seen any of black women in Chicagoland, right? In Chirac? Have you seen any of them that would be even remotely marriageable material? Any?
Just from the ones I've seen, just passing by and just being around. No.
So none. So those 0 women in Chicagoland that are German Shepherds.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you know,
Yeah.
did you know, Mr. Invader, that black women worship white men above God himself? Did you know that?
I believe you have mentioned that on the show, yes.
Now, that being said, don't you think that you should, if you wanted to humor yourself, you could actually play games with German Shepherds and see what they're willing to do for you and with you just to test the theory, right? If you want to humor yourself.
Yeah, you've mentioned that too. That definitely opens up the market, if you can even call it that, at this rate. I mean, we're talking about
Absolutely.
German Shepherds here.
But Mr. Invader, Let me just, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. I just kind of know how bad German Shepherds are. But German Shepherds have shown you something so horrendous, so repulsive, that even if they offered anything and everything and wish to worship you as their white Jesus, you would still say no because of their behavior, right? And the look.
Pretty much, yes.
Imagine that. That is the state of the German fucking Shepherd. The worst creature this world has ever fucking produced.
It's not
Ever.
good.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Invader. Have you ever seen any other ethnic group as bad as German Shepherds? Any?
No.
Latina, Middle Easterners, you got Indians, East West Indians, you've got Aboriginal, you got all kinds of people, right? White, Asian, you got all these different people. And yet there's one ethnic group that you seem to see that are so toxic you don't want to be around. What would you say is the thing that makes them tick? Like, what is it that when you see them, what is that repulses you the most?
Well, actually, I've never really been attracted to, well, as I knew, on black women, and I didn't really understand why until I found you through Nick, and I get it now. They don't act like women.
What do they act like, Mr. Invader?
They act like men.
And do you think you or any other man would be attracted to a biologically genetic female who acts like a dude? Do you think that's attractive to men?
Well, I'm sure there are some that would be attracted to it, but for me, no. Yeah.
So, when it comes to the state of the German Shepherds in your area, how many of them do you see as like they look like single moms, right? They're walking around with kids. Maybe they got a baby daddy, maybe a simp stepfather. Like, what is it that you see in terms of just how they move around? What are you seeing out there?
Some of them didn't have any kids with them, but quite a few did. So I'm like, yeah, you're probably a single mom.
How many of them have you seen that are actually in shape?
Not very many.
So out of 100 German Shepherds in Chicagoland, how many have you seen? Out of 100, right? A whole 100. How many of them have you seen that were actually in just remotely decent shape?
Less than 10?
Damn.
Thereabouts.
Do you know what the actual statistic is for black women in terms of overweight and being obese? You know what the percentage is?
What?
82%.
Jeez.
So you're looking at roughly 4 out of every 5, right?
Ow.
Do you know that no other ethnic group on Earth in the history of mankind has ever been this fucking fat and degenerate ever?
No wonder you guys checked out.
I'm pretty
Right?
sure the percentage is even higher than politicians. Those are some fat cats.
Oh.
AOC may be crazy, but at least she's in shape.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd smash.
that
I'd
is
smash
true.
Okay, Drex, smash or pass on AOC.
Oh, smash. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, here's the thing. AOC is crazy, right? And she's an actress, right? We know she's an actress. So she literally auditioned for the role. However, that being said, as you know, I love feminazis.
Yep.
It's my guilty pleasure, right? Like the more feminist minded a chick is, the more I get turned on. 'Cause I'm like, she just needs to learn how to respect the patriarchy, i.e., this dick.
Wait. Would that count as Antifa abuse if it was AOC?
I hope so.
Ooh, good
Shout out to my man, Duke.
That's a good question.
We'll call up Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
One of these years we'll get him on here.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Invader, what have you seen in terms of the guys in your area? How they react to these women that they're around, both black and otherwise? How do they react just to that climate?
They don't seem to be engaging with them either. There are some I've noticed. I've seen what might be a couple. I don't. It's kind of hard to tell in this day and age. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's getting bad.
Yeah, it is.
And that's too bad. So here you have all these people out there. Is there anything that you've noticed about just the way that these women move in the workforce that has given you kind of a sense of alarm?
I'm not actually in the workforce, so I can't really answer that.
Hmm. Now they're not
Yeah.
going to like that because, as you know, women are attracted to resources. They
Yeah,
got to get they have to get your money up. Now, not for them, but for your damn self, because these bitches ain't shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're doing nothing but taking.
I haven't really decided yet. Kind of sad, but again, that's just the time we're in, really.
Right?
I do know one thing: college is absolutely worthless.
Yeah. COVID actually proved that quite well, right?
Definitely, and public school too.
Have you known anything different? Noticed anything different with the women pre-COVID and post-COVID in your neck of the woods?
Not particularly, honestly.
Well, holy hot damn!
Like I said, German Shepherd Central, so I don't think they've really changed with the pandemic.
Damn!
Invader, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
Thanks for
yeah,
coming
bro.
on, man. Yeah, Chicagoland is one of the worst places.
Oh, it is.
That is,
Thankfully,
Look at the fish person that runs it.
Beetlejuice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm not in the city proper, so I think a lot of the I think I avoid a lot of the crap by being in suburbia.
Anyways, Invader, get out of here, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
No
coming on.
problem. Catch you around.
All right, well, who do we got up? I guess we got Darth.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What is up? The living legend himself, Darth. You know that shit is getting real in these fucking streets, man. Look, talk to us. Talk to everybody out there. What is the state of these hoes where you're at, man?
Hey yo. All right. So all my dudes out there who thinking about dating, chill the fuck out. Stop. That shit's not in the card right now. Stop.
All right, tell them what's
And
going on. Tell them what's the real deal, man.
bruh, let me tell you, these bitches are grimy. So my homegirl, she has a roommate down in Auburn, and this roommate has a boyfriend, right? So roommate goes out of town for a couple of days, and for some odd reason, the ex-boyfriend has a spare key to the apartment.
Ooh, the plot
So, so I'm over there visiting one of these days, and I'm like, wait, who the fuck is that? And she was like, yeah, she started seeing her ex-boyfriend again, and and I was like, damn. So she getting down like that in his bed, and I was like, yeah, these bitches are out here doing dirt.
Are they monetizing themselves? Because we are hearing, I have multiple sources that tell me that more and more girls out there in college age are monetizing themselves and literally prostitutes, as in seeking arrangement, sugar daddy, sugar baby
Oh, yeah,
relationships.
sugar daddy.
How much of that are you seeing?
A lot of it. Most of her friends are actually doing that shit. And the funny thing about that is they talk about how, oh, men ain't shit. Men this, that. But the second they see that money, they shut the fuck up. They're done. They're
Yeah.
ready to drop everything.
And tell me what kind of things they do for these older, richer guys that go over to the college.
Man, these older guys be asking them to do some weird shit. Like some of them just ask them to sit there naked and just the old dudes just stare at them, I heard. And some of them, they like to, weird story, but eat food off the girls. Have you heard about anything like that?
Yeah, that's a thing. Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like a lot of weird requests, And it's like a lot of older dudes asking for this shit. Like no sex, anything like that. They're just asking these bitches to stand there, basically.
Yeah. And most of these guys are usually married, of course.
Yes.
And when it comes to these broads at Auburn, I asked our man Dirty Dan, how about Title IX? Because as we know, Me Too has
Bruh,
gotten
these
out of
bitches are
control.
accusing motherfuckers left and right. And so whenever I ask them, okay, so where's the police report? Did you say anything to anybody else? And guess what the answer is? Or guess
Here we
what the
go.
answer is always is? No.
Here we go.
The answer is fuck no. Because they were too, quote unquote, scared to say anything to anybody else. But whenever I pose the question of, okay, so would you rather your rapist go out and rape somebody else? She always gives me the same answer of, well, I didn't want to say anything because I was afraid. Are you fucking serious?
You know that there's laws, right? They have the rape shield laws. They have Brafol law, Duluth
That
model.
everything
Literally
is in your fucking court to this
everything.
day, but you're telling me you can't go to the police and tell me what happened to you? Nah, bro, these bitches not out here getting raped, bro. These bitches are bullshitting.
Tell me what you know about the parties and all that kind of stuff, frat stuff, like because there are guys out here who actually think they're going to meet their queen in college. And can you talk to us about, obviously these girls are monetizing themselves, right? So let's go down the line. Prostitution, check. Cheating, infidelity,
Big
check.
fucking check.
Right? Okay, now let's talk about body counts, which means rampant promiscuity.
These
What would you
bitches
say
are in the
about
triple digits.
triple?
At minimum. At minimum.
Minimum, not maximum, minimum.
Minimum.
How about drug usage? Drugs, alcohol, all that.
Everywhere. Weed
And what
just
kind of
isn't enough
drugs
these
are these
days.
girls doing?
Well, I'd say like weed for one, acid, LSD, Molly, anything you can think of, they're doing this shit. And it's just like, bruh, you bitches are out of control. And wait, you know what? I'm not gonna give the bitches too much flack because these dudes are out here doing that shit too.
Oh, I bet they are.
These fuckers are on some weird shit at that Auburn campus. There's this trans person in the group, right?
What?
And yeah, and there's this.
Jesus.
Remember the ex-boyfriend I was telling you about?
Yep.
He fucked the tranny too.
Oh no, trannies be getting it in. Trannies get it
yeah,
in.
yeah. Man, they were passing that tranny around like fucking money, a hot potato.
Fuck. Now that begs the
Hit by
question.
the men and the women.
I was about to ask that. How many of these so-called straight guys are out there smashing trannies?
Man, a lot of these dudes are on the down low, man.
I've been saying.
A lot. And believe it or
And what
not,
do the ladies say about these guys who, because obviously they're sharing the same space, right? There's parties going on, there's a trans person there, and now you got men and women smashing. And then how does it take place the next day, right? Because you see these people in regular school, right?
Yep.
Do people just kind of have hush hush, like don't ask, don't tell? Is that kind of the standard?
All right, so basically, whenever I do visit down there, so whenever they do go about their business the next day, the dude who's on the down low, he's just like, what are you talking about? That shit didn't happen. And it's just like trying to forget everything and, trying to play that shit off. But it's like, bro, we know. Like, you're around, my boy. We know about you. Like, everybody else may not know, but we do. And it's just like, these dudes, like, they doing all this dirt and shit, but none of them can ever come up with it. Like, not come up with it, but I mean, like, just come out with that shit. Everybody has to be ashamed of what they do?
Of course.
It's just a lot of down and dirty shit in there. Oh, boy.
So what would be your warning to all the guys out there, whether they're visiting Auburn, just kind of like in that area in general? What about outside of the campus life? What's like the general kind of like things that you see in the South, period?
Mainly, I just see people getting fucked over. From my recollection, nobody's in relationships these days. Everybody's more of a hookup today. Like, you really don't see couples like that. You see more single mothers now than ever. And I say that is because, like, even my sisters, both of them, they're single mothers too.
German Shepherds now?
Yep.
Imagine that.
And my thing is, my sisters chose the worst fucking people to have babies with. My older sister, the dude that she had the baby with, he fucking died, unfortunately.
Well, hold on. Died or got killed?
He got killed. You already know what kind of fucking time he was on.
Anytime someone says a black person died, I know, but black men don't die prematurely. They got killed.
Yeah. He got fucking murked. So now my fucking nephew's out here without a dad and shit, and I'm just like, wait, whoa.
Aw,
So my sister has 2 baby daddies, or my
of
oldest sister
course,
has 2 baby daddies.
of
So
course.
the oldest nephew, he still has his dad, but the youngest nephew does not.
Did you
It
notice any
is
difference between the who they chose to procreate with, from guy A to guy B? Like, what kind of guy did they choose?
oh, they're still single. They're still single. But same kind of dude, thug, ain't shit, not about shit. And the thing is, they're still chasing after these kind of dudes.
Mhm.
They haven't learned their lesson the first time, and they'll never learn, because guess what? This is the kind of shit that they like. They like
That's right.
dysfunction. They like chaos. This is what they are. German shepherds. Stay away from them, my boys. Learn from Dirty Dan. Please. I beg of you all.
All right,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Yeah, let me get out of here because I'll fucking tangent. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Hey, thanks for coming on, and yeah, we appreciate you giving us the word in the deep South, because man, people need to know this. One of the things that we're shooting for in this series is making sure that you guys know this is all over. We're doing the State of the Union address to the women all over this planet, from China to Japan, Austria, all over Europe, back to America, South America. Here we keep seeing hearing the same things over and over, right? With the women that these men are choosing, everything, right? And I think one of the things that Darth actually touched on that I really find fascinating is the fact that people are covering for their shady behavior, right? Whether it be the friend, whether it be other people. So I love it. I love hearing the stories. So who we got next?
Oh,
I think
one more
Baja
thing.
Man
One more
just
thing to
opened.
say
Oh,
before I
what's
head out.
that?
One more thing to say before I head out.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. All my guys out here thinking your unicorn is out there for you. While you're not hitting it, somebody else is hitting it, boy. So
Oh,
don't blame
absolutely.
yourself.
Oh, that begs me to
Don't,
ask the question.
man.
I got to ask you the question, Darth.
All right.
Marriageable women.
None. 0%.
So in Auburn, around Auburn, in that area, you would say there are 0 marriageable women.
0%. None. These bitches are for the fucking streets.
Damn. Triple
And
digit
with that,
body counts?
yes, sir.
That is beautiful. Let you hear that, you bitch made fucking simps.
Y'all better act the fuck right. I'm telling you. You fuck
All
around
right.
and find out. Y'all have a good night.
We will.
Thanks for coming on. Get out of here.
Oh shit.
So, Miss Leximus, you there?
Hi, everyone. I'm here.
Welcome
Yeah,
back.
Miss Leximus. Welcome back to the show. It's been a month since we've had you.
Yeah, it's been a while. How's everyone?
Everyone's good. I mean, everyone that's not
Broken
out
microphone.
giving all their money to OnlyFans girls, but
No, instead you're giving all your money to Amazon for fucking broken microphones.
yeah, fucking Mike, unbelievable.
So yeah, if it sounds like
Ugh.
Drex is talking through a pipe. Wait, who just turned their camera on? Oh, you hit the camera.
Yeah. I
Damn.
was mentioning.
Damn, we had a cam girl on there. All right, Drex, all yours.
All right, so Miss Leximus, as you know, we are talking about the state of the modern woman, and who better than to get a modern woman who didn't swallow all of the feminist Kool-Aid and was not ran through turbo thought by the time she met her man, Mr. Leximus. Because as you know, when you came back with us earlier on, you mentioned some of the things that you've experienced by being in a committed relationship, and now you can kind of go ahead and let people know what the state of the women are out there as a woman who does not fit the typical mold of the modern female.
Are you talking about like what I'm seeing as of recent?
Yeah.
now?
Yep.
Where to start?
Well, there's plenty of
Well,
places. Do you want to start with? How about we start with beauty standards, right? How have beauty standards changed in your eyes, in terms of like what women are going for? We have seen as men, I'll tell you what we've seen before you go. What we've seen is more plastic surgery, more makeup, right? The clown paint. And the biggest one is the butts. there was a time when, especially with white girls in particular, having a butt was not considered desirable. Now, due to the Kardashian beauty standards, right? All these girls out here trying to get butts. You go to the gym, you can't get on a squat rack. You go to all these, you know, you hear about the Dr. Miami and all this. There's women trying to literally kill themselves over unrealistic beauty standards. And do you feel any pressure on that?
I personally don't, because I don't really focus on that, to be honest. I
What
know
about
a
the
lot
women
of
around you?
people, no, they, a lot of them put a lot of makeup on, a lot of insecurity in that sense. Like if they don't like something in their face, they'll try to cover it up, or they just say they feel more confident with a lot of makeup on. So I never understood that personally, because I always think it's better not to. I had a couple of friends back in the day that told me that they want to see their girl without it so they know what they're working with. So
Yep.
sometimes they would do like pool parties and stuff and just like push them in the water to see what they're working.
See if the whole face comes off.
Yep, to see what
Yep.
they're dealing with. And
What
I
do you
always
think
like,
about how some of these women look without makeup, without all the superficial stuff? What do you think most of these women really look like? Because, you know, let's say a guy says, "Oh, this girl is an 8." Once you take off the makeup, an 8 can go to a 4 easily, wouldn't you say?
oh yeah, like it can surprise you what makeup can actually, the whole image change. Like I remember seeing with Mr. Lex like Asian makeup tutorials and stuff like that. Like they change a lot. And
So
we're
they
always
go from a
surprised
1 to
like,
like a 9.
yeah, big time. Like they use tape, they use they use so much things and I'm like, oh, and it's very surprising to see it like that.
Yeah, you heard
But
about the cheekbones, right? They have a
oh,
there's like a glass thing of just the cheekbones of all the Asian women who have had their cheekbones removed to try to look like white chicks or white Eurasian, I guess would be the right word.
I haven't really heard about the cheekbones, but I am Asian technically.
Oh,
So
it's
I don't.
creepy. In Korea, yeah, in particular, it's gotten real creepy over there. And
Huh.
what do you see is some of the things that you've seen just being like at campus, all that kind of stuff in terms of, you know, you mentioned earlier there are girls who are, you know, selling themselves online, whether it be like, you know, the sugar daddy, sugar baby kind of relationships. There's OnlyFans going on out there. There's chicks getting ran through. As a woman who doesn't want to be involved in any of that, how do you navigate? Because I'm assuming these women are trying to pull you into their world, right?
Yeah. Usually, if they try to befriend me or something, I won't be like, no, don't talk to me, get away from me. I, I would still talk to them, I'm still normal. But if they try to like hang out with me and I know like the environment they're always in, I always say I'm busy, I'm on my thesis. Like, I don't really hang out with them. If I see them, I talk to them normally. But
Hmm.
it's more of sometimes there's some females like they overdo it sometimes that think they have the mentality of just always going around and doing stuff. And I've been told like, why don't I do things? Because like Mr. Lex will never know. Stuff like that. Like they actually are telling me like, yeah, you can do it. Have fun with other guys. He won't know unless you say something or unless someone else will tell him. So I was like, I'm here. I'm like, why would you even think that? Like, if I wanted to be doing those things, why would I be in a relationship? I could just be, going around like that. And that's also horrible because then they start, like, they get mad. So mad and offended when I tell them, like, that's for me repulsive because I don't do those things or believe to do any of those. And they get offended. They start saying, "Oh, you think you're better than us?" I was like, "No, I just don't think that's okay to do."
You should say yes, honestly. Like when someone says, okay, so here's the thing. There's a hierarchy. I'm sure, Mr. Leximus has told you. Hoes get treated like hoes, women get treated like women, right? So
Hmm.
when a girl says like, do you think you're better than, yeah, right? Like it'd be like someone saying, okay, if a child molester shows up and he's sitting behind bars before he gets shanked to death, and it's like, what, Drex, you think you're better than me? Yeah, because I'm not a pedo and I'm not in prison. Like this whole thing about judgment, Miss Lex. One of the things I've noticed about women, and especially this new crop of women, is that the shame has gone away. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I see like the girls at school or just anywhere in general now, even the mall, like even teens and stuff, like they wear like crop tops, booty shorts, and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is this world coming to? Like 12-year-olds also wearing it, girls, adults, like just they don't really care about self-respect.
What's that?
And and usually like if you know your own value, and you know your worth and you're self-confident, okay, that's fine. But don't be showing things like that. Like sometimes guys like, being more conservative, leave what, how do you say it? Imaginative to the eye. Something like, forgot the word.
Love there's something to the imagination.
Yeah.
Something
Like the
that.
guy can imagine her or think like, oh, how would she be like this? But if you're already showing it,
Leaves nothing to the imagination.
there we go. It doesn't lead anything to the imagination in general. So it's just like flaunting it. This is what I am. This is what you're gonna get, and it's probably not gonna go anywhere.
It's
At
amazing,
the end
Drex,
of
how many idioms we use in day-to-day conversation that we take for granted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Miss Lex, one of the things that I've noticed about some of these things that women say to each other is, do you feel that they have a pressure to kind of like loop you in to the feminist mantra, which is be all about career, don't respect your man, let your body count go unchecked, right? Like all these things that they kind of want you to stoop to their level. And how much pressure do you feel the sisterhood to conform?
I would say there is pressure to it, but in the sense like sometimes they just want you to go to a level and I just ignore it. But I've heard, I think, everything at this point from them. I've been told like if a guy asks you like before you guys are intimate, just say your body count is 1. Like automatically. 1. Like they'll tell me
You
those
do know
things.
that no guy believes that, right?
Yeah, I just looked at them like this is like when I was still a virgin. I was like, yeah, okay, but I'm actually like not even active. And they were so surprised. I was like, okay. They're like, well, when you get active, you'll probably be very promiscuous, and yeah, no, they always assume like you're gonna just turn out to be a hoe, and I just look at them. I was like, okay, I don't think that'll happen, but we'll see. And obviously that didn't happen because I've only been with Mr. Lex for about
3 years.
3 years, going to 4. So,
Wow. And what have you
so
seen
it's
in
been a
that
long.
that 3 to 4 years that works for you guys in terms of how you and Mr. Lex just work as a couple compared to what you've seen out of other people? Mr. Lex mentioned a girl you guys know that went from being the straight and narrow to the turbo thought.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of disappointing to be honest.
But not
Because
unexpected, right?
yeah, no, I didn't think like she would go to that level. Because she would always say like, "Oh, these girls are hoes" and stuff like that, and then she starts acting like one, and I'm like, "What happened here? Like, what
So what do you
happened
think was the
to?"
trigger for her, Miss Lex? Like what do you think led her down the whole path?
She started dressing up in a certain way and started getting more attention by other guys. So
And then
she
so the
like
attention
pretends.
led her to just so she became an attention whore first, right?
Yeah.
So what made her like ultimately cross over? Was it like, 'cause I'm assuming was a bad breakup? Was it just she just figured, well, I'll just go do whatever, and then what?
It was religion based because she was she is Muslim. She is Muslim, and she would wear like the hijab and stuff like that. But then she stopped and started dressing up the way she wanted to, and then she started going very, very slutty after that. Like pictures she would take like in bikinis and stuff like that. I'm like, you would have never done this, and you would always say that other girls that do that are attention seekers.
Miss Lex, what does the same girl say now? The same one who was calling other girls hoes. What does she say about the same girls now?
Oh, that body positivity, like she feels good about herself, she feels free and liberated. And I
So,
just
so a complete 180 is what you're saying.
pretty much, yep.
Wow.
So, like, I remember, like, even when we were at the library, because we would study together, she would see, like, girls, like, wearing those booty shorts or showing everything that they have. And they're like, oh, that's so disrespectful to them. They should appreciate their body. They shouldn't be just flaunting it like that. They won't get any respect. They'll attract the wrong guys, and so far. But she's doing that, and I'm like, what happened here?
Well, I have a
So,
question for you. Did
mhm.
this same girl, when she goes back to see her family, does she try to then put back on the hijab and act the part?
Yeah, she does.
Miss Lex, I asked you that question because I want to read a comment for you that was left on episode 25 from Jane Doe. And I want you to elaborate on this. Here it goes. Drex asks if they've ever seen someone radically go from traditional to feminist. I have. I've seen a female go from super religious to super feminist in literally a year. So what happened was her biological clock was ticking and she decided, F it, I don't care what God wants. I'm going to do what I want and no guy has married me yet. So I'm going to be artificially inseminated. She was looking at being a nun, yes, a nun, a few months earlier, and working at a hospital before she bought into the I don't need no man BS. She stopped attending church since she knew it was wrong slash didn't want to be judged, and now she's a single mom. She's in single mom hell. F feminists for feeding her that lie. How many girls have you seen, Miss Lex, just swallow the feminist Kool-Aid all the way in college?
Practically all of them. Like, I think counting wise, like from people I know, maybe 5. I think that's stretching it too. Haven't really gone to that level. Or
But do you
like
see any of
different.
the feminist rhetoric coming? Like when they say things, do they say some of the feminist talking points? Wage gap, body positivity, patriarchy.
Yeah.
There's these feminist buzzwords, right? Because they
Yep.
indoctrinate these girls.
Mhm.
And also, as a woman, have you seen that the guys are buying into this indoctrination?
Yeah. I have seen guys also buying it.
I'm gonna chime in 1 second. I remember that Miss Lex was attending a class. It was like right after like the George Floyd thing, and they were basically talking. As scientists, we're going through a really like tough time. It was a guy who was saying that we're going through social upheaval. We as scientists, we need to be socially responsible. So we need to really take a minute to think about like how racism affects our community and our scientific community. So like they're trying to bring in like gender politics or not race politics into like a class about like a science class or a math class. I forget what it was you were taking. But it's like, what the hell are these dudes talking about? Like, what does a man being, killed by a cop or allegedly being killed by a cop, what it, I don't want to get into that, but like, what does it have to do with science? It's like, it's ridiculous. But that's just my
Yep.
2 cents.
Yeah, the male
Yeah, but
feminists are going to come out and woodwork.
usually the guys I've seen, usually they try to um get like get with them, trying to get those points, stuff like that. But it's always
Does it
the
ever
worst
work?
thing they could do. Again, only one I've met, and that was a rare case. But everyone else, no. I haven't seen that.
Well, Miss Leximus, let me ask you this. If you were a guy, right? So pretend that you are living in the role of a man. What have you seen out of modern women would make you say, "Oh, I sure would get on one knee for one of these girls"?
What would? Yeah, I don't. From what I've seen, even in the PhD program, I can't even say like I would the girls that I know at all.
So have you seen any, like I said, remember, pretend that you don't exist. Have you seen any female at all on a college campus when you go back home, when you visit here, you visit there? Have you just seen anyone that makes you say, "Oh, absolutely, that's the kind of woman that if I were a guy, I would marry anywhere"?
I would say one because she's been in a relationship and they're engaged. They've been together for like 8 years. The
So
only
one out of every female you've seen one.
yeah, at least in the program, like especially in the program that I'm in, like it's usually few girls, a lot of guys in the program, so they're going around and stuff like
Mm,
that.
mm. Cool. And
And
let me ask you this, Miss Lex. How many females do you see in your age group that can cook at all?
I would say three. That's even including me, because I
Okay,
don't.
so not including you too.
Yep, because everyone else like just take out or they just buy the home cooked
Or
ones
like,
and microwave. Like they don't cook. They don't know how to.
And let
Like
and let me
a
ask you
bunch
this.
of
Does it matter the ethnicity? Like it doesn't matter, black, white, Latina,
now
Asian.
it does not matter. No one like literally knows. Like there's been friends that I've gone to either white, Asian, anything, and they don't know how to cook. So they're like, "Oh, let's just order takeout." I'm like, "Why?" I was like, "You have stuff here. I can make something." They're like, "Oh, you know how to cook?" I was like, "Yeah, I learned at 8 years old that I would be dying of starvation when my mom would leave." And they're like, "Oh, oh, cook us
So,
something." I was like,
Miss Lex, let me ask you this. One of the things that I have seen with a lot of modern women is they have a lot of demands for men, right? The man has to provide this. He has to do this, this burden of expectation. But yet, as soon as you ask a modern woman, what do you bring to the table, right? Like, what are you providing? They either get angry or silent. So, the question I'm going to have for you, Miss Lex, is that as you look at these modern women, what would you say they are actually bringing to the table, right? Because you said that if you were a man, you would marry them. What is like? Can you say what they bring to the table, if anything?
sexual satisfaction at that point because he can't cook. They barely even know how
Mhm.
to clean a house that I've noticed. Like it's sometimes gross. That's why I tell them to come to my place because there is I can't. No. Laundry everywhere. No. I guess I have OCD from my mom, but I can't deal with that.
You say that again?
But I can't deal
Damn.
with it in general. Nope. But
So do you see things getting better or worse for the modern female?
worse. Definitely worse. And what I find funny about modern women in general, like I get what they're trying to do, like the guy that they want, the perfect guy or whatever they want. But at the same time, like they have to realize their own point, like what are you doing? What are you doing in general, like that you could get a guy? Yeah, you can hoe around, look pretty, but at the end of the day, like you're gonna grow old, the makeup isn't gonna work anymore, and stuff like that. But they don't realize that yet.
Miss Lex, how many of these women do you see dying alone?
They're dying alone or with cats, but it's a good portion. So
Well, the reason why I say that is because you feed us and fuck us and don't give us a headache, we're good, right?
Yeah.
These modern women can't cook, they can't clean. Okay, yeah, you can say sex, but here's the thing. The promiscuity is so out of control that they're not. And because of that, because of them being unfaithful to you, you realize quickly, well, where is this going, right? Like, the only thing they're good for is to smash. So could you ever see a situation where these women go back to being more traditional if they wanted a real relationship? Could you ever see that?
I don't. No, I don't really think so. Like, if you're traditional, you would have been from the start. Like, a lot of people say that they'll change, but honestly, they'll go back to their ways somehow.
How many girls
Oh,
have you seen try to go like try to go the straight and narrow and say, I'm going to be in a monogamous relationship. I met this great guy at school. I met him at work, whatever. And then at some point, she had to just get back on the carousel. How many times have you seen that?
all the time. It's either because one, they actually do mean it and they're actually going very well, and then the guy did something. So then she's like, all right, didn't work out. They're all like that. They get mad and they're like, 10. They're all guys are all pigs, and they'll go off that route, and then they'll hoe around again. If not, it will be their point of view. Like, they see a hotter guy or something, just like the physical. They'll wonder, oh, how is it to be with him? The guy, like what I got already with from the speech. Oh, my guy will never know, and they'll go out and do those things,
Have you
and then
ever
it gets
seen them show any form of remorse? They cheat on their boyfriend. Have you ever seen them be like, that was a terrible thing that I did. It was awful. I can't believe I did it.
only when they get caught. That's the only
That's all they're
time, because
sorry
then they'll
for.
be crying. Yep,
Yep.
Yeah,
because they'll be
they
crying
turn on
for
the
it.
They feel
waterworks
sorry
after they
for
get caught?
themselves because they got
Mm-hmm.
caught. They don't feel bad for anything. Because
It's like,
Drex, feeling regret for something that you got in trouble for is a sign that you're accountable, right? That you said, "All
absolutely.
right, I fucked up." Well, guess what?
It's unreal.
These
And Miss
these
Lex, what have you
hoes
seen?
ain't shit.
Hey, shit. Well, and Miss Lex, how much have you seen with the drinking and the drugs? Like just like the mental stability of these women. Have you seen anything in that regard? We'll let you out of here
Even
with that.
head meds.
Yeah, head meds.
Men's, I do not know, but drugs and alcohol, a good portion. Like, even from high school, like, that's when it all started. That's when it started going down fast.
I mean, smoking a blunt every couple of months, just to chill out is nothing. But they're not
No,
doing weed, are they?
no, I'm talking about like everyday type thing. Even sometimes weed, but they get drunk as well and do stuff. Like, I had what's it called? A friend, I guess, but I've known her since like kindergarten, and she died from an overdose at 19.
God damn.
Yep. Fentanyl?
We don't know. I just know
Probably
it's,
fentanyl. Or fentanyl laced something.
yeah, I think so. So I was just surprised hearing that, and then other people as well, like my generation, like just started dying from overdoses or about to. A good
Yep.
friend of mine too, my age, she almost died at 18 from an overdose as well, and drinking.
They need to stop with the drinking. The drinking and
Yeah,
drug stuff needs to stop. Miss Lex, have you heard anything about the abortions? I've heard a lot about abortions at the college age level in particular. Have you heard any of that as a woman? Like, these girls saying they went into the clinic because they slept with so many guys, they got pregnant, they don't know who the dad is, and they had to go ahead and hit the abort button.
they. I've heard about abortion, but it's not more of like I've slept with many guys. It's like I slept with the wrong guy. Like, that's their excuse. Like, shouldn't have
Yeah, he
slept with
wasn't a
him.
football star. You know it's true.
Still, oh god. No, but
Unreal.
I've seen girls that, like, one day I just see them normally and they're just crying and they'll tell me like they're pregnant. I thought it was like happy tears, child's a blessing and stuff like that. But they tell me, no, I don't want it, and I'm like, what happened? and they're dating like someone, so I think it's them. No, they cheated on their guy and got pregnant with that guy. So they tell me I need an abortion or I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, okay. I was like, but I'm
And
here
this is an
thinking I'm
everyday
like,
thing, right? Like an everyday
Yep.
thing in like just college life of girls in their 20s, right? Like this is not like
yeah.
uncommon.
And I think what I found very ironic, like she would be the one passing out the flyers of don't abort.
Of
Like don't
course.
have abortion. And I'm like, you're
Oh,
so
yeah. Campus
confused.
Republicans are the worst chameleons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the Tommy Lauren types of the world. Yeah, for all my right wing guys out there. But yeah, we love it. Any last words?
My closing thoughts is in general, just be careful with the woman you meet, especially in college. There are some authentic girls. There is still some. But overall, a lot of girls, they're just doing their thing, and sometimes it's the worst thing that they can do. And I would never tell any girl to do that because they always regret it at the very end when it's like too late for them to go back.
It's almost like if you didn't know her before college, you can't be sure. Like, why take the chance? They're just gonna lie anyways.
Yeah. Like, I think my Mr. Lex and I like worked out because we've known each other since middle school.
Thanks a million yet again. And we'll definitely have you and Mr. Lex on for a follow-up episode. So thanks again for coming on and your sharing your state of the Cummunion. These hoes are getting out of control. They're getting completely out of control. I'll find my unicorn in Asia. I'll find my unicorn in college. No. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to constrict and tear down all of the things that people said is the go-to. You see what I'm saying? There are still people out there who believe this shit. No, Drexel, it's not true. And there's Miss Leximus saying what? Oh yeah, these hoes are getting ran through. They're fucking on pills. They're getting abortions. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And the fact that
And
there's
especially
still
the
dudes out
pills
there.
portion.
Yeah. Because like Ken has a lot of insight into just like it's not even just the women. Obviously, we're focusing on women on this, but just the culture in general is using the band-aid. Like I'll pop a happy pill in, right? Not addressing the problem, just I'll put a happy pill.
So I'll disagree with you on that one though.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
argue with you on that. It's not about popping a happy pill, because if you try to take, and this is my approach on it, because I tell my clients all the time, I can't tell you one way or the other to take meds. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physician. That's not my role. I can tell you the effectiveness of both. I can tell you how they work together. I can tell you why sometimes you might need one to do the other, or why you might need both to get to a good level, and then over time you can like taper off of it. But I don't tell people whether or not they should take it. That's not my role, because
Oh
I'm
no,
not
no.
a
That's
physician.
not
So,
your.
and it's more about, there's a lot of benefits from medications. Like, if I could tell my clients to take meds, I probably would tell them, for most people, it's a good idea, because a lot of people, if they're in a really shitty spot and they're not capable to actually start working in like the therapeutic sense, to start doing the shit I'm asking you to do in counseling, you might need the meds to get to a place where you're actually okay to actually start doing the stuff. So meds are very effective in a lot of ways. It's when they're not used in the right context, and when they're not used, I feel as though meds should never just be the sole answer. If you're going to be on meds, you should be doing psychotherapy as well.
Agreed. Well, the percentage that we're at now as a country, for white women in particular, it's 41%. 41% of white women over the age of 40 are currently on head meds, either antidepressants or anti-anxiety. And when you start to ask people in the workforce, right, if you're a white collar job or something like that, go ask, like, go around these women and look what's in their pill bottles, look what's in their purse. A lot of them are popping pills, and that's not a good thing. As a society, like as a society, if you have a bunch of people who are, because you know, now here's what I've always said, Ken. At the end of the day, and some people disagree. I feel that the real you is the person without meds, because if the world collapsed tomorrow and there were no meds, you are who you are. So the medicated version of you is just that, the medicated version.
It's like
And
makeup for your brain.
Is that a bad thing
no,
to
no,
be
no.
a medic?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but here's my issue. Because this episode is addressing the state of women, right? The state of modern women. If you enter into a relationship with somebody that is on head meds that you don't know, because they don't usually disclose this, right? Like, you're not gonna have a woman tell you on date number 2, oh, I take antidepressants or anti-anxiety, because if she says that, there's a percentage of guys, me included, who would have reservations. You seem like, yeah, I'm good. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, in for women to get pregnant, they have to go off these meds. Then you start to see that she's batshit crazy. Like, well, what happened? And like I said, this happened to a buddy of mine. You're saying what happened, but in reality, this is the real person. Without medication, this is who they are. There's a lot of people out there who don't take medication to adjust their head, right? So when you see them, that's them. They aren't taking Xanax, they aren't taking Ritalin, they aren't taking anything. Like when you meet them, that is them. And I'd rather deal with somebody where they aren't taking something that alters their mood, alters any of that. I just, who is the real you? I'd rather deal with the real you. But that's just me. Like I said, some people feel, hey, I'd rather deal with the best version of you. So if that is medicated, so be it. But I'm just, this is addressing the women, and should men be in relationships with these modern women? I say no for a variety of reasons. And I would like to ask you, Ken, what have you seen in your practice in terms of, have you noticed an uptick in just people coming in for whatever reason, whether it be psychotherapy, whether they need to get medication? If you've heard or you've seen something, what have you been seeing in your practice?
I see it. Again, I work with kids a lot, and sometimes it's different issues. But I know a lot of people will ask me questions about meds, and I know a decent chunk of people I think I see are on meds or have like a partner who's on meds. Like I have a new client who's having issues with his wife. Their sex life declined after the birth of their first child. They have 3 kids. Um, she's taking meds for depression. But like I have, several clients, some people taking meds for like ADHD, and it's, it's definitely a very good tool. It can be very effective. It's about how you use the tools. Just like, different than if I give you a toolbox to go work on your car. If you don't grab the right tools for the right parts, you can fuck things up really bad. You can strip out bolts in your car. It's going to take you 3 times as long to get shit done. You could permanently break stuff in very bad ways. Same thing applies psychologically. Is if I give you a toolbox of stuff to use, you need to be able to implement them properly. If you're not at the level to be able to do that, you probably need, the help of meds to get there. Because a lot of the
Mhm.
shit I do with people in counseling can be very difficult. Like I legit had a 20 to 30-minute conversation with a 12-year-old boy on Tuesday for one of my sessions about what it means to be ugly. Because he brought the question up, and so I was like, okay, you brought it up, so we're going to dive into this now. Because he kind of just asked it out of nowhere. And I told him, I'm like, I'm not going to just let this go. And so we dug into it, like, what's it mean to be ugly? How do you define ugliness? And, I try to, and he's thankfully not in a situation where he needs meds. But if he was, you know, I feel like, he's got like family that would be helpful for him on that, right? But I also have run into people who are very opposed to meds, which bothers me in a way, because I have a couple clients who would very much benefit significantly from taking meds, and their parents don't want to put them on meds or put them on the right meds, which is even
Mhm.
worse, is they're on meds, but they're on the wrong meds, or they're on meds that aren't effective. And I've got a family now that I work with who the kid's 15 and he's got issues with severe depression. It's clearly depression, and his mom has been fighting me tooth and nail. It's a video game addiction. It's a video game addiction. I read this book on video game addiction. it's this doctor in this book that says it's video game addiction. He's got these symptoms of video game addiction. And she's legit told her ex-husband that she thinks I'm wrong because he told me this in the session I did with him and the son. It was pretty funny. I was trying not to laugh whenever I was doing the session because I'm just like, yeah, I figured that happened, and I'm trying not to be a dick because it's not my job to like talk shit about the other parent.
So, Ken, do you
And
find that there's like a triggering event that seems to bring upon the reason someone comes and visits you is because of some sort of life event, like their parents got divorced, or there was a suicide, or an attempted suicide. Like families are just broken now.
a lot of so for example, if I like look at because I was doing notes before I got on with you guys, so if I pull up my client list real quick and just kind of skim through my clients and just think of the ones that are their children and I know two of them. I see their siblings. Their parents are going through a divorce. It's a contested divorce. It's been going on for a while now. It's likely going to go on for another 6 to 12 months. I'm probably going to get deposed at some point. I'm waiting for it, which is fine. I was expecting it to happen anyway. It's not
You
like
have to
the
do
worst.
that a lot. Do you?
I haven't had to deal with it much. I had a case that I did recently that was a supervised visitation case where a mom had lost custody of her at the time daughter was 2 or 3, very young, and had allegedly abused the child, like had like hit her or threw or like knocked her on the ground or something. And I never truly believed the allegations, and because the dad was characterizing it in such this awful way, and then like the first session of supervised visitation, kid hasn't seen the mother in 3 years because the kid's 5 now. Because the mom went to jail for a while. She went through rehab, went to like a halfway house after getting out, stayed almost twice as long as she had to because she was trying to get her shit together. And like the first session, like they hit it off. Like they were playing, there was no issues with trauma. And, we had done supervised visitation. I was waiting to testify in that case if the judge was going to fight back on allowing for her to have unsupervised visits or family supervised, because that's why we were doing them in the office, because she needed someone to supervise that was in a therapeutic setting. And, that was probably my boss who had done supervised visitations before, because I was wanting to do it because it's a good way to make money if you're willing to deal with the stress of it. But she had done it for a long time, and she's like, that is probably the most picture perfect, like textbook supervised visitation you could ever have. That first one, like it never goes that way. Like it was odd that it went that way. It was cool, and I was really happy for her to like have gotten her shit together and that she was working on improving her relationship, and she was really dedicated to trying to do things right to become a mom again. Like it was such, it was such a good thing to see because it's not always the case. It's always, mom or dad lost custody. They're trying to get it back for whatever reason. And then it doesn't go well. There's trauma there that's clearly not, going to go away very easy. It has to be dealt with, or, there's a bunch of other things that can go with it. But, for that, it was good to see.
We've talked a lot about finding your unicorn, and people are like, well, why does it matter? What's the big deal? I mean, Drex doesn't have a unicorn. He seems happy. But if you're the kind of person who wants to bring life into this world, children, and you don't have a unicorn, this is one of your outcomes. You're living with someone you can't stand, you end up divorcing them, and then you put the kids through hell and back, and then some. A lot of kids get prescribed drugs. A lot of kids need to be prescribed drugs. But isn't the greatest cure for a lot of these kids just to live in a properly adjusted family with a mom and a dad?
I guess it would depend on what you mean by that, depending on what the situation is.
Like, we're not dealing with drugs. These are two stable individuals who truly love each other. One of them isn't on head meds. One of them didn't get ran through on college and is cheating one left, right, and center, right? The unicorn marriage. Isn't that the greatest cure for? Well, I guess it's more of a vaccine than a cure, but it's a vaccine against this kind of trauma to children?
Say it definitely has a way to minimize potential harms, but I mean that
I mean,
doesn't
you're not
stop.
immune, obviously.
It's
Just
not
like the COVID
immune.
vaccine, you're not immune to problems, but
Yeah, I'm gonna hold
I
off
mean,
on that. I'm gonna refrain from commenting on that because
in
I
Minecraft,
had
the
yeah, because
Minecraft COVID vaccine.
you should have heard. Were you there for my stream the other day where I ranted about the mental health and kids and COVID and shit?
But just to wrap up the state of the communion, so Ken, I wanted to talk about women in the professional setting. Do you have any experience with how these career women in your professional workplace? Do you have
So when
any
you say
experience with that?
like career women as like clients of mine or like coworkers?
No, coworkers.
Well, considering I'm on the only male at my practice, then it's all women.
Yeah, so tell us more about that.
I mean, of the coworkers, therapists specifically that I work with, um, one's a cunt, and she's leaving, thankfully, because she's an absolutely horrible person to our admin staff. The other two, the owner and the owner's relative, um, they're both counselors, ironically. Uh, they're both very well. My boss, the owner, doesn't have a partner to my knowledge, or if she does, I don't know about it. She's just been very invested in the business because she opened it within the last 5 years, and so she's been building it up. So she's been very invested in opening her own practice and getting there.
Is she in like her 30s or 40s? You don't have to say
I
her
think
exact age, just 30.
I would guess mid 40s to early 50s. I don't know off the top of my head. I know her mom's over 80, and her mom works there too.
So Drexel, this might be who was that woman that wrote the article, I'm 54 and I regret, focusing on my career.
Oh, she's in her 60s now. Candace Bushnell
Yes,
is the
Candace
writer
Bushnell.
of Sex and the City, right? So a lot of women have followed in Candace Bushnell's ill-advised footsteps, right? The Sex and the City life, single girl, yeah. Get ran through. Yeah, this is fun. Let's go out for drinks, right? And Ken, you would know this better than most in your profession. I see it from a street level, right? Like I don't see it from the level of like, oh, I'm treating someone or I'm seeing like I'm seeing it from a level of I'm around these women and they're popping pills just to keep themselves from, Minecrafting themselves. You see what I'm saying? Robloxing, right? So
Yeah.
one of the things that I've noticed though, Ken, is these childless women, right? These unmarried childless women, career women, right? This is what I want. I have seen it, Ken, with my own eyes. They start to collapse. It's either in their 30s or 40s where you just see them just start to completely unravel. No kids, no husband. So Ken, here's what happens. A lot of these women will brag because they think they're going to live a man's life, right? The masculine path. So they think they work a good job, right? They get they're decent earners. Oh, I got my own place. Good for you. I make my own money. Good for you. And they think that just Tinder hookups is good for them, right? Ken, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's like they just hit this magic wall, not the wall of attraction. They hit that earlier. It's this wall. It's like the happiness wall for women, where the biological clock has run out, right? And they sit there. They're
Mhm.
like, Ken, I'm 43, or yeah, let's be honest, Ken, even 33. These women start panicking, bro. No kids, no husband. Yeah, you can get hookups, right? A guy can come over, smash, and then leave. And you say that's what you want, and yet you can't shake your biology. You see what I'm saying? And I look at what a lot of them are doing and the meds they're taking just to keep themselves sane, right? Or at least remotely sane. And my question to you then would be, Ken, what have you noticed with modern women? You could also tie this into children also. What is the most troubling trend in, like I said, the women, the kids, the young adults? Like, what has been the trend that you are most concerned with in terms of, the mental stability? Let's say the mental stability of our nation.
So would you say just for women specifically or for anyone?
Although we focus on women, because men and women obviously have to, interact and coexist. you can address both. Like, just because
Okay.
we did a show about the men also, and I think this can greatly tie into that of because I get women who say, Drex, there's not that many quality men out here, and then of course I get the men saying the same thing, right? So kind of go into that what you've seen.
I would say, and kind of based off that article, because if it wasn't that one, I've seen a couple other articles of people who have, focused on career and then they hit, either they're way past peak fertility or past, like their peak physical attractiveness or sexual libido, levels. And so they've tapered off and it's hitting, once you make that realization of I fucked up,
Hmm.
and it's a lot harder to undo that, both for men and women, but for women particularly, because if it's like women, and for example, you wanted to have a kid at some point, but you didn't plan on that thoroughly, as far as like taking steps to plan ahead, like freezing eggs or
Hmm.
freezing embryos if you did IVF, and saving those for a later date. And even then, you can still, because I sadly know enough about fertility shit because I've had 8 miscarriages with me and my wife and my ex.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. And so I know what that's like to want that and not have it. And I'm
Hmm.
not that old, you know, and I can't imagine what it would be like for, and I mean, I in the truest sympathies for like a woman who would want that and then, decide to focus on career or whatever, whether misguided, whether, a malicious, specific, directed pursuit, and then hit that wall at some point and go, well, fuck, I can't do this now. Or even if I,
Hmm.
do IVF, the likelihood of, anything being successful, the likelihood of following through with a pregnancy, finding a partner if it's not even that, or if I haven't even saved my eggs or done anything, the if you're not familiar with female reproduction, a woman has all the eggs she'll ever have by like near the end of the first trimester. Like
Yep.
they're all made in utero. And so
Yep.
as you age and your DNA degrades and all that other stuff, it causes the risk for birth defects and for also health risk to the mother for carrying a child as you get older. That's why you should try
Hmm.
to aim for having a kid before 35.
Multiple studies have shown that there are huge advantages to having children much younger. When you wait longer, they have a much higher likelihood of developing um, either genetic disorders. I think it's okay. Do you know the percentage? If women have a kid past the age of 50, isn't it like a really high percentage that they'll have developmental disorders?
Oh, it goes up. Even in the 40s, even in your late 30s, early 40s, autism odds go way up. The Down syndrome, all those other things go way up because you're talking about, again, talking about an egg. Even if you have a peak fertility man, you still have an egg that has potential damaged DNA. You have the likelihood of throwing off some of your DNA, so chromosomes are fucked off. Fucked off chromosomes give you shit like Down syndrome, gives you shit like, other things. And so I feel as though, there is a lot to have in the idea of like pursuing a goal and pursuing that, like wanting to be a career oriented person and wanting to be, wanting to do this for myself or wanting to do that for myself. Or even for a woman wanting to be independent. Because I've also seen the flip side of it and I'm dealing with it in my personal life with my sister-in-law. Is she is not even, she's barely past 25. I think she's 26 or 27 because she's a few years younger than my wife. So I think she's like 26. And she's got 4 kids. She has a 5th on the way. And
Damn.
4 of the 5 kids are from uh, the same father. The first one was from a different guy who was a psycho, effectively. Um, and the guy she's currently married to has adopted him, but she has not worked ever really, or she's like worked at Walmart within the last year or two, on and off. She had to quit because of some of her own mental health issues. They're living in an RV right now, because of to be as nice as I can to my brother-in-law. He's a dumbass. And so they've been living in an RV with 4 kids, and now she's pregnant with her 5th child, and they can't afford to get out of that. And she's wanted to get out of that situation before. We were planning on helping her move in so she could go to school, so she could, have the ability to actually get out of that and do something with her life so she's not dependent on an unhealthy relationship. And, because their relationship has not been good. He's been kind of controlling and stuff. And because of her situation, it makes it incredibly impossible or incredibly difficult for her to do anything with herself. She has to rely on someone else. We were going to sacrifice 3 to 4 years to allow her to stay with us, to allow the kids to stay with us, so she could be able to be independent and not have to worry about that. Because we know, my wife has an undergrad in psych. She has a second bachelor's now. And, I've got my degrees. And we both know the issues with that. Her family was not healthy growing up. She knows what it was like with that kind of stuff. And so the goal was to get her to be independent. Now, that's almost going to be impossible with 5 children. She's, I think, almost most of the way through her first trimester now. Maybe into her second, I don't remember. But, you're talking about someone who's the inverse of that. They're not career-oriented. They were family-oriented starting out, or they just ended up in that kind of place. They got married after, finding another person after the first kid, and or after, I don't remember if they got married before they had the second kid or whatever. But it was a situation that they were trying to do that, and as a woman, it has put herself in a very precarious situation. And so, as a person, whether male or female or somewhere in between, you need to properly balance what you're doing with your life at a very early age. And you need to figure out what your goals are and how you're going to obtain fulfillment with your life. Because, for me, I love what I do as a job. There are some very stressful things about my job. Ironically, one of the most stressful things about my job at the moment, paperwork, because I have to do all the paperwork and it's a pain in the ass and I hate doing it. Even though I'm doing it in the fastest way possible, through dictating it with the voice recognition software and all the fancy shit, I still have to chug through it and it's boring. Yeah, I get some clients and stuff that we go through difficult shit and that stuff can kind of hit home, but I love what I do. I don't wake up and go to work and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work today. I enjoy going to work. I enjoy what I do. I get fulfillment out of that. Do I have issues in my relationship? Sure. I've been working on them. It's been a difficult, time we've been together. Definitely hasn't worked out. I've made a lot of stupid decisions. Things have been difficult. And, I'm doing my best to get personal fulfillment in my life with my partner. I have fulfillment in my job at the moment. I love where I'm doing. I love where I'm at. You need to balance both. And you need to be cautious about putting one off for the other. Because you need to be able to, whether a man or a woman, or like I said, somewhere in between, whatever you choose for your gender or whatever you identify as, anything, whatever you choose to do in life, you need to balance it properly. Because if you're too focused on work, you'll burn out. If you're too focused on home, my God, do you want to just get out of the house and get some time to yourself or get away from the kids?
I think the lockdown really drove that point home.
We got one last question for Ken, and it's what we ask everybody during this episode. So Ken, let's just say you're another guy out there. You're not a married guy, so step outside yourself for a second. From what you've seen, both in your profession, what you see out there, bars, clubs, academia, professional world, what would you say is the percentage of marriageable women today, from your perspective?
I wouldn't even know where to put a number on that, to be honest. Because, again, it's hard to, at face value, get that number off of somebody. Like I could walk into a bar and just pick 3 out of 10 people here are marriage material. But that's going off of a very, very face value thing of, oh, well, they're attractive, or the mild conversation we had is okay. You have to really get to know someone to say whether or not they're good material. And
What about the people you know in your personal life? Like, what percentage of all of the women that you've ever met in your life would you say are marriageable?
oh god, that's such a um women specifically, of people who I know that aren't just like brief acquaintances, because I know enough about them to be able to make that judgment.
Mhm.
Um, I'd say a good chunk of them, probably at least a third to half of the ones I know are good marriage material because uh, either A, they were not married and became married, or B, aren't married but would make a good partner with someone because of just what I know about them, like my best friends, my few best friends. Great people. There's a lot of good things about them. They don't have anything crazy off the wall that would be like would turn you away. And
And these are the people that you've chosen to keep in your life, right? That you know them in some capacity and that, you didn't lose contact with them that quickly. So, like, that's a huge filter in and of itself. So you're taking like one of the best samples of society that you can possibly have, and it's still only a third to a half.
well, that's also a very small number of people because I only have 3 best friends, and I keep a very small number of best friends for more than one reason. Because one, these are people I will trust with anything. They know more about me than my own therapist does. Like that level of detail I tell them about my life. And the same the other direction. And all 3 of my best friends are women. I do not have a male best friend. There's
I'll be your
reasons
male best friend for a
potentially.
fee.
Yeah, I know you will. Quit fucking soliciting during the podcast. Um, you can do that afterwards. Um, but I don't have really a male best friend. And, doing my own analysis of that, I've kind of come up with my own reasons why. But, those 3 people that I do trust that to that degree are all 3, I believe, marriage material. But I also, you know, through either, lack of contact with other people or, whatever it may be, just haven't really made that many friends. But
Mm.
that's fine with me because I'm happy with that for the most part. And, I'm happy to have the people I have in my life. I don't feel like I need to keep dozens or hundreds of people, fawning over me or am I so I could barely keep in touch with the people I have in my life right now. And, that's what it is. But I do know that, the people that aren't my best friends, but I do know well enough, you know, some of them are marriage material. Some of them, like my one best friend, her sister is, at least when I knew her pretty well, um, and this was right out of high school, early 20s stuff, was kind of like the party person, like did all that kind of shit, like to do that. And that's makes sense for your early 20s. She had an interesting personality. I probably would have dated her, but obviously didn't do that. I mean, at this point, I don't know her enough to say whether she's marriage material. There's other people that I've ran across that I'm like, no, hell no, would never, no 10-foot pole, 20-foot pole, whatever. Not
As
touching it.
RPM would say, I wouldn't fuck you with a stolen dick.
That's being generous in some cases of people I've run across, and that's cruel and unusual punishment to that stolen penis. But
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ken, for giving your take on the state of the communion. Drex, closing thoughts on the state of the communion.
Well, one of the things I wanted guys out there in the manosphere at large, anyone who's listening to understand is, I went at the state of the men or males because there's not that many men, and a lot of guys out there are low testosterone these days, and things that men can do, things that show glimmers of hope, and obviously, likewise, we want to do the same thing with the women. And as I look around, there, let's just kind of do a recap, right? We're hearing how are the women in the workplace? Guys are saying we got guys like Mr. Leximus tells us about the military, the schools with Miss Leximus. She's telling us about these college girls, like the amount. And Aaron Clary, shout out to him, great channel. Aaron Clary made a video, I believe it was over a year ago. He said men need to face it. there's virtually no marriageable women anymore. Because remember, you can't just say she's really great right now. You have to also consider what could she turn into along with the machinery of the state, which is the loaded gun in her back pocket, right? So as we look at that, the options are slim to none and slim just died, like Coach Greg Adams always says. And there are things that women can do that do provide a glimmer of hope. They can start asking successfully married people, right? Their grandmothers, if they have a great granny, like what were the things that made your relationship work? Because it's not always going to be fun and games, right? There's going to be tough times. How do you get through those things? Maybe it's faith. Maybe it's making sure that you guys keep it spicy with date nights and stuff. Whatever it takes to be successful, work on that, right? Embrace ask and embodying the divine feminine. We had Miss Leximus on the show. Here she is saying that she's the only female she knows in her age group that can cook. What, one other girl? If you were to ask that question 50 to 100 years ago, every female could cook. The things that men value in women, women don't or won't do, right? They don't want that. So here we are at the state of the women, and women are just failing. Not that the dudes aren't failing either. We're failing as a society because women are trying to be men. They're getting more masculine, and the men are trying to be women and being more feminine. That's a recipe for disaster. No one's going to be happy with that. The head meds are going up. The suicides are going up. The debt is going up. The national debt, right? Personal debt and national debt. At some point, you're going to have to course correct or go extinct, one or the other. So I just really want you guys to understand that as we close out the State of the Communion here with part 2, is that ladies, do better, expect better, and demand better of your fellow woman and yourself. Not that hard, just like we do the same thing with men here. The Kevin Samuels of the world, he does that by saying, hey, man, turn yourself into a high value man. You can't just have a bunch of guys out here doing nothing. Guys will hold each other accountable. Well, we're telling women, hold each other accountable. Okay? Simple. So that's all we got. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and you can look back and comment in the comment section about what you've seen out there with modern women. Do you guys see anything out there that is dateable, marriage material even? And just let people know like what's really going on out there. We got religious thoughts, military thoughts. All we see is feminism run amok. So we like to hear from people that say, hey, I found one good one, 2 good ones, 3, something, because we're not really seeing that, especially if you live in a major city or even the suburbs where a lot of the infidelity happens and all this other stuff. So just everyone keep your eyes on the swivel out there, your head on the swivel, and just really know that the quality ones, the diamonds in the rough, they're exactly that. They're gonna be harder to find. But if you do find them, if you're a guy like Mr. Leximus, Nick Ricada, cherish the good ones because they're fewer and far between in these end times. These are dark days that are ahead of us. So that's all I got, man. I hope everyone has a good one, and that's it.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Stay frosty.
Peace.